This video was made possible by the EA Creator Network. This year, My Sims and My Sims Kingdom were bundled together and re-released on the Nintendo Switch. Today, we're getting to work in My Sims because we are the only ones who can make the town flourish again. Can we build homes for townies that match their aesthetics and bring my town to a 3-star town, all while having fun? There are some things that will not be covered in this video, like finding essences and building furniture. We're only going to be moving townies in and building their homes. But first, let's catch you up. This is me, Symtherin. This is my house, and here's my little workshop. I've already put enough work to get this town up to 2 stars, but I'm determined to get that 3rd one today. In your town, there's a hotel where Sims will stay to kind of get the vibe of your town. You can talk to them, and then you'll be able to ask them to move in. Rhonda here will be our very first new neighbor. She seems to be pretty excited to be moving in, and I'm excited to build her house with you guys. The build mode in this game is a little different if you're used to building in The Sims 4 like I am. We have base blocks, we have a menu for just doors and windows, a few roof styles, some dormers, some flares like columns and decor that we can use at our disposal. And what I've learned is the more you unlock and the further you go in this game, the more options you'll have. We're currently building a home for Rhonda, who is considered to be a town resident type of sim. There's another type of sim who is more commercial, so they run businesses and such. For example, I feel like Rhonda would get along well with Candy, who is a DJ who loves to throw the best parties. She's an example of a commercial sim, but you might even recognize her from The Sims 4. But we're not here to talk about Candy, we're here to talk about Rhonda. Rhonda is a sim who loves to live life to the fullest. She enjoys clubbing and just having an overall good time. So I wanted to make sure she had a house that was, one, cozy, but also big enough to kind of throw parties if she wanted to. You'll have to bear with me sometimes because I was still kind of getting used to some of the controls a little bit. It had been a minute since I opened up this game. As we progress, I promise it'll get a little easier to kind of watch, but I have absolutely enjoyed My Sims so far. I've never played it when it was in its like earlier versions, either on the DS or I believe the Wii. It was just never part of my Sims vocabulary, I guess you could say. I've always been a PC player, and this is definitely very limiting as far as building goes, but it's kind of fun to play with it a little bit and try and make homes and buildings that look a little different. Here I am putting a ton of windows because even in my regular builds, I still say you can never have enough windows. Like, I don't care. Okay, I love windows. They bring in natural sunlight and it just makes a build look good. Okay, maybe it's not so realistic, but it looks good. Here we're trying to figure out how to really roof this front part, and I think it's a little later where I realized that I can use a smaller version of a window with the kind of, I'm gonna call it a platform roof because that's the best terminology I have in my brain. I'm not sure what they would call it in here, but we're getting a chimney, and I think we're gonna find some columns because I love columns in my Sims 4 builds, so of course I have to do it here. But there are a couple of builds later on that we're going to get to where I don't use them as much, so you can kind of see some of the difference. I love a good fence here. Now, one thing to note, and it took me a lot longer than I would like to admit to figure out, but there is a little yellow arrow. I think you can see it there at the edge of our lot piece. And that is pretty much where there is going to be a stepping stone or a little path leading up to the house or building in question. I did not realize that and kind of got mad when I first built my Sims actual home because I blocked that piece off thinking I can kind of get creative with where the fence lays and where we enter into the yard. But yeah, it looked really weird at the end, and I did go in eventually and fix it. So that's just something for you guys to note. I also put a little gnome guy up in the platform roof just because I felt like he looked cool and maybe he's down to party a little bit. I've been pretty obsessed with gnomes. I think I've spoken about that in a few videos recently. Right now we're adding the last finishing touches. We only have so many slots to work with, so we're a little limited in that sense as well. Right now I'm kind of looking around, but we're going to start painting and playing around with some colors here. There's a lot you can adjust here. You can do windows, dormers, roof paint, wallpaper, but there are some items like some clutter and some roof flares. Like you can see this little yellow balcony or awning, I guess you can call it. I can't change any of the swatches for that. I don't think we can change the swatches for the light or the gnome or even the columns, but eventually as you go on, you know, you can then unlock different types of clutter and different types of columns. But I think I end up going with a very blue pastel-y look for Rhonda here, because I think I was really thinking about Candy a little bit when I was building this, only because they kind of have a similar like interest, and I just think they would get along pretty well. But I think we stick with this blue. We're gonna go through it a couple of times. Sometimes if you miss one and you're like, ooh, I like that one, and then you go too far, you have to kind of recycle through it again. Here I'm trying to bring in some more yellows, but the roofing on the yellows kind of, at least for this build, was not working for me, so we opt to make the walls on the dormer yellow and the roofing blue. We might even put yellow roofing on the main part of the house. We'll see. I really can't remember at this point, but we're going to switch through that a little bit. That is pretty much Rhonda's home. We are not going to go into any of the interiors for these builds, but if that's something you want to see in the future, definitely let me know and maybe we can do another video like this. I would love to maybe try and explore the more interior design aspect of this game. But here I'm like, oh, I'm done, but just kidding. Every building needs to have a sign so that the Simville, that's what I called my town, knows what building this is and who lives here. One down and so many more to go. We're gonna head back to the hotel now and pick out another townie to move in. I picked Gordon here, mostly because he kind of reminds me a little bit of Bob Pancakes, but he is really excited as well. He's gonna wait here while we go build his house. So far, I think Gordon might be one of my favorite MySims character. He's a sim who is really in love with reading, and he's even working on his own book according to the MySims wiki. The book is about the semicolon, which I find very hilarious, but he enjoys history and science, watching plays. He prefers like a quiet, more suburban type of feel, which I didn't know until, you know, right now when I'm doing the research on him. But because I knew he was into books, I was like, I want to do something really creative. I really want to try something kind of out of my comfort zone with this game and try and do like a castle-y type library feel. Now, at the time, I did not know that there was actually a MySim who comes and actually owns a library and runs the town library, I guess. So, did not know that. Maybe we can come back and revisit this one, but I wanted this like really cool entryway, which you'll see later I end up having to delete anyway. At least this archway. You can't walk through it. At least I couldn't. I don't know if it's because I also put some awnings on it, and maybe that's why, but I really couldn't figure out how to make that work, so we get rid of it, but the two towers up front do stay, so it kind of still has a very Victorian-esque castle-y feel. I believe this is pretty much the shape that we stick with. I played around with maybe putting some more building blocks on top here, but we opted not to. I'm moving the lights here. We do get more columns around the front towers a little bit. I did struggle a little bit with getting some of the columns on the back part. Like, it's really hard to zoom in and get it to work, and sometimes the columns aren't going to snap to where you want them to right away. But that doesn't really upset me because I know it's an old game, it's remastered, re-released for the Switch, and the controls obviously aren't going to be like mouse and keyboard on The Sims 4. Okay, I get it, and I will live with it. Here, we're trying to figure out the roofing, and I was thinking of layering it like this, but I don't know, it looked really weird, so we go with this, like, I believe it's a half gable roof because we can kind of size it to the right part. Oh, I end up doing a tower here. That's what I do. It kind of adds to the castle feel, if I say so myself. I really do like how it turned out. Again, we're trying to play around with these like platform roof tools. We get a chimney up here because chimneys are just cozy, okay? And this is the cozy bundle, so we need to make sure we stay cozy. I'm trying to figure out what kind of clutter would work for this sim, but before I forget, we're picking out his sign. It's a little green university face guy. It's really cute. That sign is pretty much going to show us all that the sim who lives here is a very studious sim. They really like their books. And every time I've been walking around my town, I often see Gordon on a little picnic blanket with a pile of books reading. And it's such a cute little interaction because you can walk up to that blanket and choose to join him reading. It's super cute. You pick up a book and you just start flipping through the pages. That is an ideal day for me. Like, just give me a good book and a blanket and I'm happy. Or my Switch or my PC. You know, anything that doesn't involve working or thinking too hard or cleaning or cooking or doing chores, like you name it. Before we move on to painting, I think I revisit some roofing a little bit. I think I opt in putting some dormers over here, and I think about putting these here. I might leave them. I think I do leave them. They do clip a little bit into the platform roof, but you know, that's okay. It is what it is. This is for the aesthetics. And then I realized you can put fences on roofs. I don't remember if I leave this here or if I get rid of it. We're gonna find that out together. I might leave it. And that's definitely something I want to, you know, revisit in the future. We do get the fountain on top here, so that just goes to show that you can get a little creative with where you're placing objects to kind of get a new look. We're going with like this red and purpley brick here. I felt like it looked very like, I was really thinking Discovery University a little bit and trying to encompass that in this build. Maybe you guys agree or disagree with that one. But overall I like it, and in just a second you're gonna see we're gonna kind of come back into this and get rid of that archway a little bit, so you guys will see that just so that it's actually functional. Here's where I was struggling with our columns and trying to get in there, and I think in the end I do miss one, like placing one, and it's kind of embarrassing if you walk by the town and notice it. I know I noticed it the other day. Here's where we're going to remove these things that is making this not fun. Let's head back to the hotel and find another sim. We're about halfway to hitting our 3-star goal here, which is really exciting. We're gonna check out this sim here. He's very into exercising and fitness, and his name is Roger. He's saying, "Huff huff, hi there, the name's Roger. I was just running through town, but this looks like a fun place to move into." And we're gonna suggest that he does. So let's build him a house where he can get all of his exercise and fitness in. Roger is also a resident townie. He is a fitness trainer who enjoys jogging, taking his pulse, stopping to catch his breath, and that list seems to go on and on. I was thinking of trying to use some of these more slanty building blocks, which I haven't been really able to figure out how to use yet, so this doesn't stay. But I was thinking for a minute, like maybe trying to make his home look like some kind of dumbbell, but that was kind of a lot to figure out at this point. Here I'm trying to think maybe if it's like standing up and we kind of use these inverted blocks, but I also did not like that, so we're gonna move on and we're gonna stick with what I know. Are any of you playing My Sims on any kind of platform at all? And let me know your thoughts on it. Do you enjoy the building aspect? Do you enjoy the gameplay aspect where you're foraging for things, digging for things, going fishing? I struggle with going fishing a lot in this game, and I pride myself on most like cozy simulation games similar to this where I pick up fishing pretty easily. I know a lot of people tend to complain about fishing mechanics in a lot of games, but I tend to feel very comfortable with this. We are getting Roger some skylights here, or I believe they are skylights. They may also be solar panels, but I am choosing to believe that these are skylights because I am thinking maybe in this little tower is his gym, and what's better in a gym than some natural lighting? I feel like every gym I've ever been to, that's actually a lie as I'm saying it out loud, because there was a gym that I belonged to at one point in my life that was literally in the basement of a building. And honestly, that kind of sucked, you know? Because one, I guess no one can look in on you working out, but you also don't see the sunlight, and I guess that doesn't matter if you are one of those who gets up like crazy early in the morning. That is not me. That cannot be me. I am not a morning person at all. I am a night owl. So let me know in the comments down below, regardless, how you like my Sims. I feel like I got way off track there. We're getting a little rambly. Hope you guys don't mind that. If you're not new here, then you'll know I tend to get rambly, but we have the shape of the house pretty much together. We're grabbing, I don't think we stick with the freezer bunny. Oh, that's sad. I've been really enjoying freezer bunnies recently. But either way, at this point, I'm happy with the shape, and now we're moving on to coloring. I think we try and go with this brown roof texture and kind of kick it off from there and try and figure out what that's gonna look like. I did remember that he was wearing kind of like a yellow and green striped shirt, I believe. So I just tried to match that a little bit, but we are going to get another townie now over here in the hotel. This one is our librarian. We're gonna try and chat with her, but Buddy got in the way a little bit. Buddy is super cute. He's saying, hey pal, now that Simville is a 2-star town, there are a lot more people interested in moving here. Not just commercial wanting to move here, but also regular folk. He is so cute. You'll probably definitely recognize him. He is part of the MySims collection, collectible things you can get in the Sims 4 base game. But these guys are just chatting up in the corner and kind of ruining my vibe. So we're going to try and talk to someone. I think we accidentally talked to this little sweetheart, Clara. She is adorable. Look at the little flower in her hair and her pigtails. Now she's talking to someone else, and now we're gonna ask her to move in finally. Come move into our town. You are super cute. And she gave me cottage core vibes a little bit, and that's what we're gonna go for. You may have noticed that when you do start working on moving in a sim here, the first page of their build by menu has some suggestions for color theme and certain items. Here is where I actually really lean into that theme, and we pretty much keep the pink going because Clara just looks like pink cottage core girly. When I look Clara up on MySims Wiki, it does joke around and say that some people say that Clara's middle name is cute, but it's really just Belle. But Clara Belle is a young girl who loves cute things, playing with toys, and she just wants her home to be cute and filled with cute things. So I have not mentioned yet that there's this little pie chart on the screen, and if you hover over that, it's going to show you how much cute, geeky, science-y, you name it, spooky I think is another theme that you can kind of go for. So you can kind of see it's filling up like this pink pie slice. It kind of makes me think of Trivial Pursuit a little bit, but that'll pretty much be a good key indicator for if you're on the right track for the townie that you're building for. I for one can't wait to start unlocking more items and more types of things so that I can really come back to a lot of these homes and give them little makeovers and remodels, because I think that would be super cute, especially as I get to know the townies a little more, because looking them up has been so much fun for this video, and I just can't wait to interact with them and watch them grow and honestly build them some more furniture. But we are really keeping in theme with the pink cutie cottage core type thing by adding a picket fence. We have to have it. And we have a little flamingo. Of course, I feel like that's very classic Sims, at least in my mind. The pink flamingo and the gnome. We're also getting some flower wall decals. We'll get some lighting in here. And that's pretty much our build, I feel like. I don't think we get too many other details here. And, oh, a little awning, of course. I just wish I can change the color of that. But overall, super cute. And I think we do, no, we might keep blue or pink. I can't remember which ones we go to, or if I do a combo of it. We're gonna see. It looks like we stick with pink and we pull in some yellows from the awning. I think that works if we keep the yellows in a little bit. But yeah, overall I like this home, and you guys are gonna have to tell me which one is your favorite at the end of this video too. But before then, we have a couple more to get to because we still need to get that 3rd star. And we're gonna come and get our next townie. I couldn't believe when Buddy pushed her. Like, that was so rude. It literally stopped me in my tracks, but we're gonna come console her. We're gonna chat with her. That's what you get, Buddy. This is Elmyra. She is our librarian. And of course, we need a library for, I mean, Gordon would love a library, but one, I would love a library too. So she's game, and we're gonna go and build her a library. Elmyra has to be a play on the character Elvira, who is very dark, and she's literally called the Mistress of Dark. But Elmyra in My Sims is a grumpy woman. She hates noise, unpleasant things, and being disrupted. She is disgusted that there is no library in town, and honestly, same. So we are building a library here, and this was when I got really excited because we have new columns to play with. We have this cute little book sign, like how adorable, and these cute little lion decor statue pieces. So of course we had to make sure they were all proud and present. I really tried to play around with the shape of this build. It has an overhang in the back of it, which I found really exciting. This lot is actually a little smaller than like a Sims home lot would be, which is very interesting. I wonder if there was a reason why they decided to do it that way. I have no idea personally, and I have not looked into it, but it gave me an excuse to really try and do a different shape and work more on height. Of course, you cannot go any higher than 2 floors, unfortunately, so you are a little limited in that sense, but we have the shape of this. It came together pretty quickly, and we're just gonna find some kind of paint. I think we go with more of the red brick again, kind of an homage to what we just did with Gordon, and trying to really pull in that Discover University feel that I absolutely love, the Brychester feel. And I don't think I get any fences on this one either, so that's almost like a first, I think, for us here. And we're just gonna finalize picking out our roof trim and roof painting, get our chimney snacks. We got 2 because libraries are super cozy, so you need double the cozy. Once we finalize the colors, we're all set and this build is complete. And this has been a lot of work, so I'm going to take a quick nap so that some more potential Sims will spawn in the hotel. So now that it's morning, we're back at the hotel, and we are looking around and kind of scanning the room, but I am very interested in our little peacock friend over there. She looks really fun. We do have this guy walking around, but needless to say, I am already intrigued. This is Miss Nicole. She wants to open a little boutique in this town, and clearly she is a fashionista. We are going to ask her to move in because honestly, this is definitely something our town needs, and we're gonna make it happen. So yes, I really want you to. We're gonna go, and we got some new windows and some new doors and a little bit of like new items here to play with, so I'm really excited for that. We also have a little more space than we did when we just built Elmyra's library, which is exciting, and we're gonna definitely utilize every single bit of it. If you guys are familiar of the Able sisters in Animal Crossing, this is what this is reminding me a lot, because I just pulled up Miss Nicole's profile on the Sims wiki. She is a fashion model, fashion expert, a little snooty, but always willing to give advice, but she also has a twin sister named Shirley. Now, doesn't that seem fairly familiar to you guys? Of course, the Able sisters, there's like 3 of them, but you know, I digress. We are getting the windows together, and I definitely want to use every single new item here and really play with it. I even almost put the like clothing mannequin twice, But we play around with the roofing here, which I thought was super fun. We've got this nice long piece here. Maybe that's where the dressing rooms are located. I don't know. I was thinking of all of these things. I really had fun with this one. And I think we pretty much keep the yellows in this one. I did mention in one of the previous builds that we did today that the yellow was a little harsh, but I think it worked with some of the swatches on this. I realized that this little fence piece is perfect for these little weird bump outs that I've been trying to do, so we have that going on for us. It was really exciting, and we're bringing back the columns because it's been a minute. I'm gonna keep gushing over the windows in this one because I would love to have some kind of type of windows like that in The Sims 4, mostly for commercial buildings like this. Like, think Magnolia Promenade. Like, how fitting would it be? It would maybe give me the excuse to actually rebuild that world like I've been thinking about for many, many years now. But we have the shape of the build together, of course. We're working on where we're gonna put all of our details here. I don't remember if we keep both of the mannequins, but we might. I do end up getting more windows over here. I think that weird bump out piece was throwing me off a little bit because I didn't like the blank space, but I think we get the peacock in a spot in the ground, or maybe I leave it there. I can't remember as I'm watching it. I'm sorry. Yeah, the slotting and the options there kind of throws me for a loop. I keep wanting to hold down Alt and like free place things like I do in The Sims 4, like, but that is not an option here, and that's okay. That's a me problem. That's not a game problem. I do want to make that clear. Obviously, there's going to be a bit of a learning curve when you have a different Sims game like this, and it's not going to be exactly what you expect it to be if you're used to playing like the legacy, I'm gonna call it, the legacy line of The Sims, like on PC, maybe even console, might be a little different. But we are in the final stages of this build now, picking out colors. I think I pick out the window swatches first and really lean into those green and purples, which I thought was really fun because then it brought me back to Miss Nicole's outfit and like peacock feathers, so I thought it was very fitting to kind of go all out with these colors. We are going to maybe stick with this purple brick a little bit. We'll see. I accidentally clicked the roof. I got so mad, and now I had to shuffle through all of those different swatches again, and trying to get the brick behind these windows was a little difficult, but I guess if it didn't work, you wouldn't have been able to see it anyway. But this is Miss Nicole's boutique. I think it turned out pretty cute. I really enjoy it. We're just gonna make sure we are satisfied with placement, but I think we are. Back at the hotel, and we are so close to getting that 3rd star. I'm going to sit down for a second apparently, but yikes, there is a bit of a fight. We have to wait a little bit. I wonder what they're fighting about. I don't know, but we're gonna talk to this guy. He's got some freaky red eyes, so I'm very interested in what he's all about. His name is Ray, and he seems a little rude, but nonetheless, we need a little bit of a variety in our town, and we don't discriminate or hate or anything here, so we're gonna ask him to move in. And this is definitely a very much darker side of the MySims town that we are building here, and that's okay. We're gonna have a lot of fun with it, or at least I know I had a lot of fun with it. Ray is a spooky sim, and he really doesn't seem to care about anything at all, but I wanted to make sure that we built him a home that maybe he would feel comfortable in. So I attempted to build a home that is kind of in the shape of a coffin. So you obviously would have to look at it from the bird's eye view, but I think you guys are going to understand it a little bit. I really do like how this came out. And we end up using, I think, some more of that platform roofing, and because I think any of the gable roofs or anything with a pitch would definitely look weird. I attempted to use these fence things, but on the bump out, they don't really meet each other, and I did not like that. We're gonna change that in a little bit, but right now I'm testing out some windows and some doors. We're making sure our sign is up so that when we are finished with the build, we don't get that pop-up saying, "Hold up, you missing something." I also really do enjoy putting back doors in these builds. It doesn't really matter. You don't need to. I think you can only enter from the front anyway. I haven't tried it, so if I'm wrong, maybe someone in the comments down below would have a better idea of it. We're already moving on though to painting, and I definitely wanted to lean into purples and blacks because it's a coffin. Ray is a spooky sim. I tried to think of doing the gray swatches for some of these windows and doors, but opted out. And now we're just gonna add some cool little columns. I decided to use these like stone brick ones that we got when we did Elmyra's library, and I really like how that kind of added to the effects of here. We have this little, like, I'm calling him a Stonehenge head. I don't know what to call him, but I'm pretending it's a tombstone, as in there's like maybe a graveyard here, and I thought that was kind of a cute idea. I think I got some fences as well. I really do need to get some more spooky items here to kind of really finish this one off. But overall, I really do enjoy the coffin shape, and I really had fun building in this game a little bit. I can't wait to do some more, and if you guys are enjoying it as well and want to see more, you guys are going to have to let me know. We're welcoming Ray into the neighborhood now, but that means we have reached star level 3. We can now use a pickaxe because when you get more star levels, you can unlock other parts of the world. It has been so much fun building in MySims with you today. If you want to see more gameplay, please let me know by liking and commenting on this video. Thanks again to the EA Creator Network for giving me a code to the MySims Cozy Bundle, and I will talk to you all in the next one. Bye!